Welcome to the first Pick Pen Show with Pat and Travis. We're here at Boars Nest Barbecue, enjoying lunch. Thanks to Mike McNamara and Boars Nest for having us. Like I said, this is our first inaugural show. Welcome fans, welcome alumni, and people that just want to watch. My name is Travis Genz. I'm here with Pat Jenkins. We're the owners of SueyNation.com. You can visit us on the web, on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. Let's start the show.
Busy day.
It's been a busy week. We've had basketball go big over Vanderbilt. Girls basketball continued their SEC streak last night with a huge win over Alabama. We've got the gym backs, number 2 in the nation. Lady Razorback Gymnastics has a meet tonight. They're always exciting to watch, very athletic. A little bit about us. We both played multiple sports, junior high and high school, earning all conference and other honors. Pat, you coach a girls AAU basketball team, a successful basketball team.
Yes, I do. It's a young girls team called Team Arkansas. Several high school standouts throughout the 7A West Conference and 4A West. Various places such as Prairie Grove High School, Justine Huber, Rogers High School, Taylor Strickland, Northside High School, Eva Cummings, Rick Caldwell, Haley Bunch, and also a few at Southside High School, Emily Jones and Callie White. Ironically, those girls are probably 4. I think we have in the 7A West 7 or 8 of the top 20 scorers. Very good basketball players, great community. They just do a great job representing their hometown as well as their high school and their family.
I played further my career in football at Arkansas Tech University. Started off as a running back, recruited as a tailback. Finished out my career as a weak side linebacker under Coach Steve Mullins. Enjoyed that. Got to do student coaching at Farmington High School, so I coached football, both junior high and high school. Pat, tell the viewers how having actually played athletics kind of gives us an edge up on what we're talking about, what we report on, things we do with the information that we're giving to the public.
Well, it kind of gives you a sense of you can kind of figure out how the players, these student athletes are thinking. I mean, if you haven't been there and experienced some of this, it's really good.
Steve, there's some fans waving at us right there.
I know people give you things, athletes, for that matter, give you a certain little interview, private thoughts that maybe they may not get an outsider. Because if you're an athlete trainer, you can kind of understand when you take an interview with someone that's been there, just by the language and the questions that they're using. I've always thought that if you're not playing it, you're not coaching it, you might as well be reporting it.
Well, yeah, and I agree, and it helps when we are talking about sports that we play, we know the speed of the game, we know the difference between a 9 technique and an A gap, and things like that a lot of other reporting agencies don't know, and so we feel like that's really going to stand out in our show and in our writing and in our reporting. That we're one of the big difference makers in that aspect of it. My style of writing is different. It's fun. For instance, last night we reported on girls basketball, and you can read that article on SueyNation.com and really tell the difference that sets us apart from other reporting agencies. And hopefully it's going to be fun. You're going to have a good time.
On the first topic, what do you think about this recent recruiting class? Probably on his staff for a long 12 months. finally came to a culmination on just this past Wednesday, February 1st. But there's still another possibility with Jordan Diamond. For those of you who follow recruiting, Jordan's a big 6'6", 290 pounds. Offensive tackle from Chicago City High School. He'll be making his decision this evening at 7 p.m. Central Time. It's down to Arkansas, Michigan, Auburn, Wisconsin, and Ohio State. My general feeling is I'm not going to predict because, if you based on what just happened, of course, we went on Wednesday around 9:15 for some of you who are tuning in to a particular station. Kind of felt a little shocked, so I would say that they've done a great job. All the staff done a great job recruiting Jordan. I think they will have an outside chance if he does. I would not be surprised. But when you're dealing with 17 or 18-year-old kids, their minds change just like the weather. He may have woken up this morning, and may have been Wisconsin. Well, by lunchtime, it could be Auburn. 3 o'clock, he could go to Wisconsin or Michigan again. So, then by 7 o'clock, he can come full circle and sign with Arkansas. We just don't know, but I know we as fans, and those of you that follow recruiting on an extensive basis, recruiting is the lifeblood of the sport. It's year-round. It never stops. We just have to remember to keep these things in perspective. So many times, you kind of get too deep into it, it turns sour. We here at Razorback, at Soy Nation, we don't ever want to get to that point where advertising and kind of this behavior. So please, on our site, when you comment about recruiting, be as positive as you can, because let's remember these are 17 and 18-year-old kids that's making the biggest decisions of their life.
Man, I've watched tape on Jordan Diamond. Quick feet, strong hands, good size. He's an ESPNU top 150 recruit. Offensive minded. We've got several returning offensive linemen coming back. Where do you see him if he does sign with Arkansas? Where do you see him in the immediate playing time, redshirting? Is he the type of athlete that you think can come in and help immediately?
I think Jordan's a kid that, with his frame, 6'6", 290, real agile. I think the school that he's at there, Simeon, may not have the front, it's a good coach. I'm not going to say it's bad coaching, but maybe he can be coached up a little more. I think if Jordan were to cast his lot with the Razorbacks, I think he's a kid that you could look at, coming in here in the fall camp and having a realistic chance of playing. I think the thing that Arkansas may be looking for, pushing on that staff, is a couple bookend tackles. Jordan's agile, 6'6", long arms. Those are the types of players that you want to put, protecting the quarterback's blind side in the SEC. You have so many big and fast rush ends, guys that are 6'5", 6'6", long, lanky guys that are real versatile. I do believe that Jordan will be a viable candidate to get some playing time this freshman year. Maybe possibly start as a freshman.
What about if we do not sign Diamond? We've got 25 limit. We've signed 24. Tight end Demetrius Dean out of Fayetteville High School a couple years ago is now officially counts as NC scholarships. So that will give us 24 with one remaining. Who else could we possibly be looking at to offer or come in to fill a need?
I think Arkansas is basically holding out for both Devontae Neal and Jordan Diamond. If you can get both, in the professional sport, you never turn down a great player. These guys are impact kids. When they come into your program, and really possibly contend, as I've said, for all freshman teams. Outside of that, I think they're turning their attention to the 2013 class. They have a junior day coming up next Saturday. Bring in some of the top 2013 prospects that they're going to do that 365-day-a-year calendar. It's been countless hours trying to build relationships with the athlete as well as the family. But say if you didn't get those guys, I really feel like this football team that Coach Petrino's put together being his 5th class, he's built depth. That's what I feel. After a while, consistently winning breeds more winning. And kids, you're constantly on TV. It's about the exposure, the media, and you got ESPN, and all those guys talking about it. When you're going 21-5 in the last 2 years, that speaks volumes. Kids are now understanding that Arkansas is going to be a national relevant contender as far as SEC, Western and SEC as well, national championships. I'm really excited about the kids that they brought in. We talked about some of the kids that they inked that ink with Arkansas on Saturday. On Wednesday, we talked about Keon Hatcher, an awesome kid. We talk about guys like Eric Hawkins, both the people. These are big time kids that will come in. And
Benny Ascalise,
yeah.
Austin Flynn's expected to be an
Austin
immediate
Flynn
impact.
was a big plus because they were looking for a juvenile guy. I got a chance to stand next to that young man today. He's about 6. He stands about 6'5", looking about 2'6", 265, real lean. A great speed of 4.5. Those are the types of guys that you covet, and you can get one. And that's a huge feather in the cap. I really feel like this is a class. I know some people, kid up in Springfield, decided he asked a lot with Missouri, thought that this was not a good class, but there's some great football players. You come to the campus in August, and they're going to represent the university very well. The thing I did notice about this soccer class, there's a lot of kids that run a lot of football games. They're used to winning. So winning, like I said, winning breeds winning. And those are the types of kids you want to go out and do great football.
We said all along that it would be nice to sign a Springfield kid from a PR standpoint, and we wish him well, wish him all the best in his career at Mizzou, but we really needed to fill needs on defense, and I think we've really done that with the Peters and the Ascalise, Parade All-American, Austin Flynn, the Wise. These guys are all-state, all-American players at the highest levels coming out of their state. A lot of these kids are going to be able to come in and compete. Austin Flynn's been on campus since the start of the semester, so he's going to be able to go through spring ball. Ascalise, his grandpa's a legendary coach up in New Jersey. He was New Jersey Player of the Year. Keith Rooking was Ascalise's mentor, linebacker with the Houston Texans now. Also played for Benny's grandpa. And that kid, I've watched tape on that kid. His motor's running just like everybody else. On the social circles, on Twitter and stuff, I've noticed that these defensive guys have a little bit of swagger that are coming in. And that's maybe something that we haven't had the last few years as the defense as a whole. And I think with this class coming in, we're going to start seeing what we call the strut. These kids have strut. They've got belief that they can play against anybody, and that's a big key.
When you talk about defensive ends, like Wise, Michael Winston, Brandon, kid out of Memphis. We're talking about special football players. Taylor Johnson, whose son said, coming out of the state of Texas this year, just comparable to the great Mario Edwards, who many experts said he was the top player in the country. Ended up signing with Florida State. This is a group of defensive linemen that if I'm Coach Caldwell or I'm Kevin Peoples, I'm loving this group because there's a lot of things, a lot of versatility. Most of these kids play basketball or track. They're dual sport athletes with a lot of speed. It's a common denominator that I noticed when I looked at the signing class. They did go out and they went heavy on defensive ends. I noticed speed and athleticism and everything. You look back and right now there's a team playing in the NFL Super Bowl. New York Giants, they have those. They go into that 4-man set. They're out there with 4 defensive ends, rushing ends. So those types of guys are hard to block. And I see Coach Wall hands and their defensive tab going into that direction where when you get down the road, you'll see a defensive line Michael Winston and Austin Flynn and Taquan Johnson. You see all those guys on that front, in a four-man front, and get a tremendous amount of pressure. Kind of like the way that LSU and Alabama, they're doing. Georgia's implementing that type of philosophy. So the SEC tracks, it's a different league. Especially in defense. I mean, it's about speed and athleticism and guys that you may have recruited to come into your campus as a receiver, and then they end up flipping over to the other side of the ball and being an amazing corner or a strong safety, free safety. It's just a different brand of football. What Bobby and his staff is starting to put together here at Arkansas is those types of gets multiple points to where you can't just say, hey, he's a nose ball, he's a tackler. These guys can step out, they some can stand up. I expect Taquan Johnson in his career here at Arkansas to be a stand-up outside linebacker / rush defensive end. There's a lot of versatility on that football team, not only with the incoming freshman class that'll be here this fall, but what they have right now.
Pat, I know there was a lot of groans after the Wednesday morning. Tom Lemming, a recruiting analyst, recently called out several other of the recruiting services as being too political. And what he said was, you got a 2-star kid one day at a marquee school like Texas, Florida State, Notre Dame, they offer a scholarship and the kid jumps to 4 or 5 stars. Talk about the importance of recruiting services and how they go about attaching stars to athletes. For me, a coach gets paid millions of dollars because he knows more about what he needs, what type of athletes he wants, to win ball games. So stars, we hear it from coaches all the time. They don't look at stars, and I don't really think they do. And I think it's something that we as fans and reporters kind of tend to get caught up into because it's fun filler waiting on next season to start.
I'm a firm believer, I agree with Tom. This kid, some of the kids I looked at were at the roster on signing day. Some of these kids had the same kids, because I noticed Travis Arkansas were in the top 25. The same kids were offered by the Vanderbilts and Alabama and the Missouri and the Texas and all those guys, the Baylors, Florida State, Miami. And I'm thinking to myself, these kids would have been a top 25 class. They're top 25 if they go to these certain schools. Right. But the same kids are signing up to Arkansas, and he's not a great player. I harken back to several years ago and following recruitment. And I noticed a guy, I don't know if the fan base, but I'm pretty sure they do, but it's Ahmad Carroll, 5-star leading up to signing day. When everyone thought that he was going to go to Georgia, and he ends up signing with Arkansas, and for whatever reason, the kid lost a star, look out to the 4-star, so it's not a big deal. Just to kind of illustrate what goes on. I mean, Austin Dalton Santos, who just recently decommitted from Tennessee and went to Texas. Many services had him as a 3-star. He ended up signing with Texas, and mysteriously he became a 5-star, or a 4-star, and the number 1 linebacker in the country. So, I agree with you. It's basically the coaching evaluations, bringing kids in that fit your system. The most important thing I think sometimes fans overlook is, can you develop what you bring in? How many of those kids as a freshman class remain on your campus still for your 4 or 5 year career as producers? We go back to this last senior class that just graduated, Mr. Jerry Wright, Joe Adams, Greg Childs, those type of guys. It wasn't a highly ranked but now we see the fruits of that labor over 4-year period. Those kids developing. They're going to end up really bringing Arkansas into the national spotlight. You got to trust Coach Barker to train up the staff that way.
Like you said, that class was not highly ranked, but the final rankings for that class was number 6 in the nation. So bringing in the kids they want, being able to redshirt, develop, get them in a weight program, get them in speed programs, get them in agility programs, let them learn a year or two under a very complicated system, a very thick playbook on both sides of the ball. Arkansas's both offense and defense are very pro-oriented, and they tend to those type programs tend to get kids better ready for the pros. And a lot of those kids are coming in at 2 stars, and they're leaving, all SEC, all American, playing in senior bowls, going top 3 rounds of the draft. So stars to us mean very little. It's fun to talk about what counts as. You might have a 35 class ranking right now. The ranking that counts is the one second week of January. That's the one that counts.
You never really judge a recruiting class until probably 2 or 3 years down the road. These kids are ready, 3rd-year sophomores or juniors. You look back on that class and like I was telling you earlier, you look and see how many of those kids are still on campus, still attending classes, still contributing to your football team. It's about the evaluation of that coach and that staff, what they feel is best fit to enhance what they're doing. I feel like Coach Trino, Paul Hines, Taylor Johnson, Bobby Allen, Coach Sinkovich, Coach Konakis, Coach Ward. I feel like those guys have a grasp of what it takes to be a successful football player here at Arkansas, to keep the program in the direction that they want to go. Several of the kids that signed and even that on campus now, they're really believing that that program has a chance to really contend for a national championship. It's not about the evaluation. If you go off that, I'm pretty sure on that campus today, as we speak, there's a lot of junior but it's a winning program. They finished 5th in the country. Their consensus, probably if you ask any analyst nationally, Arkansas will be considered one of the 4 or 5 best football programs in the SEC. They're going to be a consensus top 10 team to start the season right as we speak. So there's a lot of good things going on in that program. Based on stars, then it would always be the Texas, the Miami, the Florida State, the Alabamas, the Georgia, the Notre Dame, the Oklahoma. It would be a 6 to 7 team race every year for the national championship, and that's just not the case. Other programs are getting good players and they're not getting enough success.
And along those lines, there was a lot written about we lost Jarius Wright, Joe Adams, Greg Childs. We needed receivers. We had to land. That's just not true. We've got several outstanding kids that have been waiting in the wings that really are just as athletic, just as fast. They've got just as good of hands. They might not have the big game experience, that Wright, Adams, and Childs and those guys have, but with the exception of Kobe Hamilton, we've got Kobe Hamilton's #1 rated NFL rated receiver. We've got the #1 rated NFL quarterback, NFL rated quarterback, and Tyler Wilson. We've got the #1 rated running back, NFL rated running back, and Niall Davis, and we've got Chris Gregg, who's right up there in the top 3 NFL rated. Plus, we've got other receivers that have been waiting their turn. So the coverage not bare as it's been led in the league.
Kind of segue on what you were just saying, the coverage not bare. Those kids that, young men that are waiting their turn. I'd go back to the press conference Coach Trino had one set foot on this campus, and he always said he wanted to get to a point in recruiting in this program where he could say next. We all know that Greg and Jerry and Joe, those guys, any kid you sign in, max 4 years, 5 years tops, they're going to go along. The more success that those kids are having at the professional level, it's only going to do. It's only going to help this program and continue to recruit more great receivers. Javante Herndon, Julian Horton, those guys have played ever since they've been great. These are kids that's going in their 3rd year in this program and never have a red shirt. Then you have a kid like Quentin Funderburk who came in and started school early, as an 18-year-old kid. So he'll be going through his 3rd deal in that system, and it's all about studying. You got the great Markwell Wade, who's a kid that was great on special teams, but you just could see. You could see that he's going to be a special football player. It's a system. This system is so good to a receiver, a running back, a quarterback, and a tight end. That all you bet, if you put in the study time, that's where this system can take you from average to above average. It's in that classroom, sitting down with those coaches and understanding the nuances. It's just a little fine print things that make you a great offense as a whole. And I feel like these kids are doing that. I think this football team is going to step it up. Because, guess what? It was no more than a year ago that when Ryan Mellon played for the NFL draft. So we were sitting there, a lot of people were kind of wondering, can Tyler Wilson, can the guy cut it? He hadn't had a lot of snaps, but what Tyler did was he studied it. He watched the videos and he listened to what Coach would do before he went. Got a really great promotion there at UAB, and he listened to Coach Trino and that staff and how things. It's a lot of that sideline talk that a lot of fans that second time, a lot of us don't get to see. So it's great. I really enjoyed the pub that they got this past year. They were one of the 4 schools outside of Wisconsin and Oklahoma State and Auburn to get featured in their quarterback meet, because you really see the preparation that goes into being a great offense as well as a great player in that offense. And I don't think anybody in the state of Arkansas has anything to worry about as far as being productive. They have receivers to step in and show them.
People question Wilson, and all he did is step in and become Arkansas's first team All SEC quarterback.
Which is big.
That's talk about answering the call right there. One of the things that's going to help in recruiting is it was once estimated $35 million. Now it's gone up $5 million more, $40 million facility addition to the U of A football program. There's been some people talking about why doesn't that money go to education. Well, what they don't understand is that the universities, the big sport programs, football, basketball, the money that they generate does go into education. There's multi-millions of dollars that do go into educational programs, and when we build a $40 million addition on, it's to bring fans, to spend money, TV contracts, bowl games. The better bowl game you go to, the bigger payouts you get. The SEC has a bowl contract where all the money from all the bowls is split evenly. We have 8, 9 teams from the SEC in bowl games, so all that money gets split evenly between the schools, and the majority of that money does go to education programs. So the addition of now $40 million facility is going to be huge in recruiting. It's going to be huge for the state of Arkansas. It's going to be huge for Arkansas football. So.
I can't say it enough, Travis. I can't stress enough. Recruiting is the lifeblood of any sport, and it does, like you alluded to, it brings a lot of extra funding and money that goes toward a lot of different stuff. Not every dollar that's brought in by the athletic department goes toward the athletic department. When you're an 17, 18-year-old kid, or some get out early and they come to school at 16, you come in and you see a facility like that's going to be built on the University of Arkansas campus, that gives you a idea. You may go down to Tennessee, and I've been to Columbia, South Carolina, and seen their facility, and just the blueprint that I saw of the vision that they have on that campus, they're going to be any better facilities throughout the entire SEC. And it's all about looks and presentation, and who makes that lasting impression on that 17, 18-year-old kid that they're trying to convince to come be a part of something really great that only that staff and that school can do. And I think when this thing gets done, I think it's going to be a huge push for Bob Coach and Trino and that staff as far as going in some of the top recruits.
We've got 2 other things to talk about recruiting. We've got so much to talk about. It's a great time to be an Arkansas Razorback sports fan right now, and we're going to touch on a lot of these. But the last 2 things on recruiting before we move on. The Fox News sports article that's now gone viral about the extensive recruiting of Dorial Green Beckham. Really, it just blows your mind. I mean, it absolutely made me ill to read it and keep reading it. And having played college ball, I know a lot of that stuff goes on. But there were so many things in that article that were almost unbelievable. The allegation of a booster being dumb enough to leave a voicemail on somebody's cell phone. Other schools, that we won't name, are calling in, into the NCAA, recording Petrino's bump in with him. It bordered on the ridiculous.
That was one of those articles that you hate to read, that you hate that a kid that has such great potential in college and as well as beyond college. Something like this would be written, kind of puts a damper on his moment, kind of steals away from everything that he had been working for. It's really unfortunate. You don't want to call out any other schools, but Travis, like you said, that goes on. Having covered the league for 7 years consecutive, I mean, hearing some of the stories that when you're on the phone and you're getting updates on those kids, some of the things that those kids are saying, certain schools are doing, I mean, it's kind of, your heart hurts for those kids. And it goes on. I think that article could have been handled a lot differently. I don't know what kind of angle the reporter that wrote that for Fox was trying to gain out of that. It was just a really unfortunate article. But, especially as a lot of people, I wish the young man and his family well, and I hope that they learn from this. The win came off, it didn't come off for that family or for that young man, and several schools that were named. It was kind of a gimmick. I know that, I'm not going to call the other school, I know certain school that was never mentioned it has strong ties to ESPN and Fox, through their journalism department. It was so funny that school was never implicated in anything negative talk that came from that family. And it was a lot of contradicting on all parties. It was just not a very well put article. One that when I read it, Travis, all I could say was wow. That's all I can say.
Yeah, that's what I said too. Wow. I couldn't believe it. Let's move on to Tommy Carter from ESPN Arkansas. He wrote an article today about why Coach Petrino's reputation loses top recruits. In that article, he talked about Coach Petrino has a reputation for being hard-nosed, tough on the kids, expecting the best, demanding the best. And as I'm reading this article, I'm thinking from a father's standpoint, wow, that's where I want my child to go. I want discipline. I want my kid to be the best he can be. And that, to me, ties in with all the 2- and 3-star recruits that we get turning into all SEC players. I mean, if Coach Petrino was a lackadaisical, laid-back players coach like the former regime, we're 6-5, 6-6. We're going to the Jägermeister on tap Island Oasis Bowl.
There is a bowl like that.
I'm sure there is. We've got 35 bowl games now. We have the Idaho.com potato head bowl or something.
The Gold Daddy Bowl.
We got so many bowls now that I can't even keep up with the office bowl. I just skim all the way up to December 31st. Tommy Kraft's article. While not a swipe at Coach Petrino, I felt it was kind of, he could have done it in a better way. But anybody with half a brain can read that article and say, hey, that's where I want my child to go. You know, I don't want him to go to a school that, you know, they have more people getting arrested for crimes than they do graduating.
You know, I kind of understand where you're from that argument. You know, I agree with you. I've always been under the firm belief that strict coaches get results. I mean, you look at Nick Saban. He's not the most interview-friendly guy in the world when you go talk to him, but you look at his teams on the side, look how aggressive they play. And it's about you as a coach, when you step in, you know they're on business with those fathers and that young man, that young lady. You give a promise to that family that you're going to help them develop both in the classroom, both socially, and you're going to bring them back. You're going to take a boy and bring him to the land. And it's about tough love. We as parents, I mean, I don't think it's doing anything that the normal parents wouldn't do. I mean, if the child's not doing his homework or things that he should be doing, I mean, you're going to punish him. You demand something as a parent from your child each and every day that they wake up. There's a standard, and there's a university. So with that football program, is that you will go to class, you will be a model student, you will not get in trouble away from the program out in the public. He expects things to be done the right way, and I don't, you know, to say that he's losing great recruits, and I'm a firm believer, and I was told this once before by a wise man, you can't ever lose anything that you never had. You know, these kids come to visit, that doesn't mean that they're property of the University of Arkansas. So to sit here and say that he's losing top kids, I think is a little over the top, and it's really unfair to Trino and that staff, as well as all these coaches on the staff. Coach Anderson, you know, I know there was talk back when Archie Goodman decided to go to Kentucky and John Stokes picked Tennessee, and so he lost. I said, just remember, you can't ever lose anything that you never had. They're going to win some of these battles, and they're going to lose some of these battles. What's to say when you stole the kid out of Darius Fighter? The kid that's committed to Alabama ended up on signing day to come to Arkansas and orthopedics. And we were jumping around about, the fans were jumping around about that. You know, hey, this is a good guy. We stole him. But the same thing that we're talking about is going on other campuses with those fans. But just remember, you can never lose anything. That never signed with you for a job.
Well, you know, we've said this 100 times. I'll take a two-star kid that bleeds Razorback red and wants to be here over a 5-star that he has probably, you know, it is split apart between 5 schools.
You want kids, but you don't have to beg them to come. They want to come to your institution. They want to get a great education, a great degree from that institution. And they want to be a part of something that you see as a national championship under construction. And though you get the most out of those kids, Coach Paul Haynes was introductory interview, and he made a great point. He alluded to, there was a question about the 5 stars and the 4 stars. A lot of people may not know that A.J. Hall was a great quarterback in the Big Ten. All Big Ten, all American. The kid came to Ohio State as a 2-star. Turned around 4 years later, and he was the 4th player taken in the NFL. So, you know, let's not put a lot of stock into what these stars mean. Like you said earlier in the show, it's all about for the fans. Once these kids get to the university, they're children. The low man on the totem. There's no stars because you have to realize there's at least 60 to 65 more 4 and 5 and 3 and 2 stars that are there before you got there. Everybody was probably the stud at their high school.
Yeah, exactly.
But you have to start over. So let's be patient. Let's not judge this guy. They do a great job of it. Look at the talent that they brought in over the last 5 years as opposed to what they had in years past. I mean, they're going up against the USC. They're going up against Ohio State, the Notre Dame. You know, we all remember the days that we were beating out the East State and the Louisiana Tech. That's not to
demean them,
you know,
but to compete at the SEC level.
And those are teams that you see at the BCS championships, the BCS bowl,
and what you just said, between that and the Tommy Kraft article, it reminds me of Petrino's first press conference when he came. He said, "This is Arkansas football, and we don't back down from nowhere." And I tell you what, it gives me chills. It's 4 years later, and I love that attitude. That anybody, anytime, anywhere, let's get it on type attitude. And we've proven in the last couple of years that we can play the best. Moving on, we've got, before, one last thing. Did you read today's paper on Les Miles? What Les Miles said about it?
I had a chance to see that on ESPN last night. They talk about a coach that's hurt. And, I think as a coach, that to me is real. You don't hold out a kid. Like I said, we are dealing with 17 and 18-year-old kids. That young man made a decision that LSU wasn't the place for him. He went to Notre Dame and enrolled, and that's all you had to say about it. For him to do it, I think it was a little childish. Only less AD, but if I was AD, I'm talking about that.
So, me as a parent, between the Coach Miles comment and the Virginia Tech assistant coach, transcript that came out earlier this week, berating a recruit who changed his mind, and he went from berating to basically begging him to come back. Now, you've got those two type incidents, and then you've got a hard-nosed, fair, get the best out of you type coach in the trio. As a parent, which one do you want to choose? I mean, to me, that's a no-brainer. That's like we sit around when we're not on TV or news and laugh about the days when we were younger at Walmart. They used to bust your butt. You acted up. You got your butt in the middle of Walmart. And nobody batted an eye. And that was good for us. So, but anyway, Pat, we've got a ton of other stuff. Like I said, it's a great day, a great time to be an Arkansas Razorback fan. 40 minutes is back. It's back. So if you've been to a men's basketball game in the last couple weeks, these kids are young. They're improving. They're tenacious. You can start seeing it on their face. They feed off the crowd. They're undefeated in Bud Walton. I believe 16 home game wins in Bud Walton, which ties or breaks the record. Ties the Bud Walton home streak record, which is quite an accomplishment in itself, considering all the years that Bud Walton's been the palace of the Midwest. It's become a feared place to play again. It's not a gimme. And there's right now, because of the 16-game streak, there's some talk of bubble, maybe an NCAA bubble seed. We've got to get a road win, and we've got to win out at home.
We'll talk about it. It's funny you say that. 40 minutes of basketball, as Coach Henderson likes to read around basketball. That atmosphere at Bud Walton Arena is something that, if you're a Razorback fan, you absolutely know. You remember the days when it was Paul, Nolan, and a bunch get up and down the court, play tenacious defense, and play with a passion. You see that with this basketball team. These are the same players that you've watched the 2 or 3 previous years that when they would get down, it just seemed like they didn't care. I mean, these guys are getting down by 5 or 6 points, and they're coming back. I mean, I went into that arena on Tuesday night at the Vanderbilt game. I had the privilege to be at a few of the games, and just the environment when you're coming to the game. How it's wall-to-wall cars, traffic, trying to come to the game. You got the student section is rejuvenated. I mean, there was times over the last 2 or 3 years where you could go in Bud Walton Arena 5 minutes before the game and basically sit anywhere you want to. And I don't think it's going to tell you that you had to breathe. The thing that I like most is you see a direction that Mike's wanting to go in with. You understand that he's wanting to play an up-tempo brand of basketball with a tremendous amount of ball pressure from 94 feet, create turnovers, and kind of just get into the team's legs the last 10 minutes. I'm really excited about this basketball team. I love the freshmen. I think that's going to be a group that in their time here at the University of Arkansas is going to do some special things and win a lot of games. I'm really fired up about what's going on at Bud Walton Arena, both on the men's side as well as the women's side. We alluded to it at the beginning of the show, how the young ladies have been pulling out these close ones. I mean, Sunday with a turning point, And I don't know if you've checked out SillyNation.com's website, but if you get a chance, tune in and check out what Coach Colin had to say about that. That turning point as well as last night's games and future games ahead. I know they're one of the two hottest teams in men's basketball, being on a 6-game win streak. But I think the big moment in that is the Kentucky Lady Wildcats. There's just a really good vibe going on with the basketball programs, and I'm excited about it.
With the excitement of football, crowds coming in, the excitement with basketball now, basketball's returned. I feel safe in saying that the excitement around basketball has returned. It's bringing in the fans. We've got a consensus top 8 baseball team. And we're ranked anywhere from 4th to 8th in every preseason ranking. We've got Bobby Petrino, we've got Mike Anderson, we've got Dave Van Horn, 3 of the best coaches at their respective sports in the nation. The fans are coming in. Tell us a little bit about what that does for getting fans out to the other sports. Girls soccer, softball, tennis, gymnastics. We're starting to see more fans and more excitement at these events too.
Well, winning bring them out. When you're winning, everybody wants to be a part of it, and that just garners more and more interest. Because then it turns into a competition. You got your football team. They going, right before basketball season. The men and women's basketball team, they see the football team finish 5th. Well, then they want to go out and do something. And then you have the men's and women's basketball teams having success. And then that segues into the women's gymnastics, volleyball, tennis, swimming, baseball, and all those sports, track, and each group of kids. Because I've got a chance to witness on several occasions. Those athletes are all really close from all the sports. They support one another. And when you have things like that going on in the program, everybody wants to continue to keep that national program going. I think Arkansas fans it's been said so many times, some of the best fans in the country. You come out and you feel those at those venues for the women's and the men's sport. Kids that are at the top in those sports across the country, they see that. They want to be a part of something that's being just hotly supported. I mean, you talk so many times about the Cameron Cravens there and do it. You want to be a part of something like that. And I think this program with the support and the way these kids go out and they're playing hard. Everybody wants to go and support a team or a group of teams that will play hard and compete from start to finish. And I think that's what it's starting to regenerate on that campus.
Hey, and you talk to any of the athletes, and they'll tell you that competition between the sports, this who can be better, is very alive right now on campus. The gymnastics girls, they want to be better than the football team. The women's basketball, they want to be better than the men's track and field. But they also talk in the same sentence about how much of a family they are. You go to all these events, and you're likely to run into 10 to 20 different athletes from all the different sports that are there to support their fellow U of A athletes. You and I grew up in the shadow of Razorback Stadium. We lived here all our lives. This is the first time that I remember living in Fayetteville where it was such a family atmosphere with all the athletic groups.
I think the University of Arkansas and we as fans, I think we're so blessed, and I think sometimes it gets lost at how many great coaches that athletic department has in all of the various sports, both men's and women's side. Continuously, Dave Van Horn, just as we were alluding to, has 5 of the top 50 college baseball players on that team. You're talking about a tremendous amount of track talent. All these coaches are able to go out and sell that Razorback brand, because it's being talked about so much. And you have to be a great recruiter. You have to be a great communicator, and build those relationships. I think it's a great group of relationship builders that they put together. This university is very lucky to have what they have, and it's only going to get better. A lot of credit has to go to Jeff along the athletic director. I know there was a lot of skepticism when he was brought in to see the first world in which at that time he goes, it speaks for itself. But this is that young man in Long has went out and he's put together a great group of coaches, has the belief to take his youth program to another level. And I think he's going to get there. I'm really excited and fired up as well as many fans should be. I mean, get out and see all these great athletic programs that they have in that camp. So it's important because you as a fan can help, just keep it going and take it to all types of stuff.
Well, when you've got 5,000 in attendance for a women's gymnastics meet,
that's true.
That's unheard of. I mean, that's just awesome fan support. Right now, the lady gym backs are ranked number 2 in the nation. They've got two meets this weekend, one against number 13 Auburn, and the second one against number 5 Oklahoma, both at home. The Auburn meet is tonight at 7. The Oklahoma meet is on Sunday afternoon. You need to come out if you're a fan. If you're a fan of athletics and competing and watching competition. It's not just in the football and men's basketball. These girls are tough. I mean, they are competitive, high-spirited athletes, and it's a lot of fun to watch.
I got a chance to watch that Florida meet on ESPN, and just to see the athleticism and the grace that these ladies perform at was something that was totally breathtaking. You just don't understand the power of just a little encouragement from 1,000, 2,000 people encouraging these ladies to go out and young athletes and young adults, they feed off the encouragement of their parents and their peers and friends. Just go out and make that a very difficult place for the gymnastics opponents that the young ladies are bringing in this weekend. Make it a place that every coach, when they leave, they talk about how great it was and how intimidating, what an atmosphere they had a chance to be in at the University of Arkansas, all across the board, not just at Bud Walker Arena or at Donald W. Rose or at Ball Stadium. Let's make it hard at Bogle Park. That's
one of the best facilities. Bogle Park, the best women's facilities in the country.
Arena, great facility. You want to make this a feared place to come and compete at all across the board. I mean, that should be your goal as a fan.
Coach Larry says this is the first time he's felt a real team chemistry with the lady softball players. I went and watched them practice again. It's exciting. I mean, I'm a football guy, and I tell you what, there's some of those girls that
turn into a sport guy.
It's amazing how competitive and how much fun it is to watch softball, soccer, gym, women's tennis. I mean, those girls would wear you down. I mean, they're amazing athletes and really a fun. Speaking of women's sports, the women's track team is number 3 in the nation. They're in a New York state of mind right now this weekend. They've got the New Balance meet. Several girls have already NCAA qualified this early in the season. Stephanie Brown in the 800 meters, Christy Gillespie in the mile, Tina Sute in the pole vault. That girl can jump over this building. They have some really good athletes. Men's track is ranked number 1. They're at the Mayo Invite in South Bend, Indiana. They've got several athletes that have already NCAA qualified. The women's tennis team plays this weekend. They dropped. They were number 24. They're now number 32. They lost a very close one to a very talented Nebraska squad earlier this week. And they're in action this weekend, and they're very fun and very competitive to watch. It's a great time to be an all-around, like you said, an all-around Razorback sports fan. And for the fans to come out and show up, you talk to any athlete, whether they be Pee Wee, Kiwanis, junior high, high school, college, or pro, athletes feed off the crowd. And right now, 5,000 people, 5,000 Razorback faithful showing up to a gymnastics meet. Why would you want to compete somewhere else? I mean, it's just an amazing time. We've got baseball coming up. We need to touch on baseball a little bit. Like I said, preseason rankings range from number 4 to number 8. We've got pitching staff coming back that's out of this world. Sanborn, named several preseasons. DJ Baxendale, several All-Americans. We've got Stanton, Ficacello, Sanborn, Reynolds, and Baxendale are all in the top 100. Draft eligible players that are on the team right now. We've got 2 signees, and pitcher Ty Boutte and pitcher Todd Stegowitz that are in the top 100 as well. Baseball's going to be fun this year. It's going to be fun.
When you talk about a coaching staff that develops their players, has a keen eye for bringing in top-notch baseball talent, there's no better staff in college baseball, I believe. Coach Manning, Coach Butler, those guys, they do a wonderful job of keeping the teams prepared, and there's going to be week in, week out, multiple times throughout the week. They may have 2-3 games in a row with a drop day in between. You're back at it. They do an excellent staff. I mean, excellent job. They're always well prepared. And those teams go out. You got to play your best baseball. I really feel like this team has a chance to make a little College World Series. I feel like they have a chance to compete for SEC championships. Let's get regionals here, which, if you've ever been to a big NFL, Arkansas, you know it's one of the great spectacles in the summer. I mean, the crowds that they bring out to the baseball games are 1 in a million, second to none. I really think that all the accolades that this team has been able to garner are well deserved. I mean, this was a team that was really young last year with 40-22, won the West, which no one anticipated having that. This goes back to we're stressing about how great that coaching staff is, and it's on there. They want to win the national championship. Each and every time you go to a Dave Animal press conference, you really want a national championship. So you always on it. I think you've got us players bought in, so they can do it this year and years to come, but this is going to be a really great year.
Coach Van Horn was smart enough a few years ago to realize they were going to switch the bat and make it harder for home runs to be jacked out of the park. And he started recruiting more pitchers and more situational type players, more bunters, more line drive hitters, and it's paid off well for him the last couple of years. This weekend, like I said, we've got gymnastics. Jamie Pisani, an All-American, she's ranked number 1 in the nation. And we've got Catherine Grable, who's ranked, I believe, number 1 or number 2 in the entire nation in the all-around. Like I said, their first meet is tonight at 7. And they've got the Sunday meet, and we've got the women's tennis. So we're going to go for now and be back Monday.
Right here
Barbecue. Boars Nest Barbecue.
You hadn't had a chance to come out and have some of the great barbecue. I can vouch personally. The potato salad is absolutely amazing. The barbecue just falls off the bone. Like I said, Travis will be here Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Please come out and join us. Bring as many questions.
When you get time.
Yeah, we're gonna bring you someone to represent us. Just a second. A young lady named Sarah, really good young lady. The Wayne support you get here. The hospitality will show you.
She'll come around.
Second to none. So get out and you're looking for a great lunch or dinner, or that's barbecue.
Good wait staff, great wait staff. Great for sports, all-oriented. We're sitting there looking at 7, 8 TV screens. You can see the whole football picture behind us. Very Arkansas fan-friendly restaurant. Good food, good atmosphere. I don't know if we can get Sarah to come around and talk about the Hall of Fame.
She might be able to.
While we're waiting, let's just talk about some other things going on. Talk about some other Razorback news.
There's so much to talk about. I don't know which angle to move on. I know you guys love talking about Razorback athletics. I know in the high school sense we are going to be high school families as well as jenkins.com. There's several good local games, basketball games out there. I know Rogers is at Fayetteville High School. I know Bentonville hosts Sportsman Northside. Harbor and Springdale are that play their Big Ten. Their city rivalry for bragging rights, which will be a hotly contested matchup. I know that Heritage is playing down at Southside in Fort Smith, so get a chance to go out and see these young kids, these young men and women. You will be pleased. I mean, there's some really great basketball going on here. Northwest Arkansas, Prairie Grove is ranked number 1 in 4A. You got Northside number 1 in 7A. Fayetteville has its own ranked boys team in 7A. Just a lot of good things going on in high school sports, and they don't get into those sports. So you're not doing anything between 6 and 7. Come out and see good things.
You're okay. Nice things about us like this on game days.
It's busy and loud.
Come here, sit down, have a seat. All right. We're here with Sarah. She's waitress at Boars Barbecue. Sarah, tell us what it's like on game days when the fans come in. Tell us how the fans act, how they are, how excited the place is to work in.
It's busy and it's loud, and everyone just shows their team spirit, I guess.
Do you enjoy it?
Yeah, so much fun.
Yeah. What sets Arkansas fans apart from other fans?
We're awesome.
And there you have it, folks. The professional opinion from Boars Barbecue. Thank you, Sarah.
You're welcome.
Well, this is Travis Genz.
This is Jenkins.
The Big Pen Show. You can see us live on SueyNation.com. Visit us on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube. Those are all free. The first Ellis interview before anybody even had it on his radar is on our website to read. We've got the athlete, Northwest Arkansas Spotlight Athlete of the Week. We've got where we've got Brooks and DJ Gray and Jana Doss, some great high school athletes with more to come. We've got the Campus Connection interviews. We've got the fan page where the fans interact. Tailgating in the Ozarks. We've also got U of A Spotlight Athlete of the Week, which is right now Chelsea Cohen, women's softball pitcher that's returning. She's a junior. She's going to be a big key in the success for their season this year.
We're also going to remind you, if you have any questions for our upcoming shows, please Facebook us at jenkins.com. You can shoot us a Twitter. We'll read out. Discuss who sent out on Facebook. We'll give you shouts out. We'll answer any questions that you might have. As I've said, if you're not doing anything between 11 and 1, come out and fellowship with us. Be a part of the show. We'd love to have you as a guest. This is a fan-friendly program, and we want to incorporate as much fan feedback as we can. We're looking forward to it, Travis. I know I am. Travis,
it's going to be fun.
We're really looking forward to it. So with your help, we can take the Big Pen Show as well as SueyNation.com to the next level. Until Monday.